Hey, welcome back to Livin MN Outdoors. I'm Daniel, and thanks for tuning in to this week's fishing report. Today's date is Thursday, January 29th. Before we dive into this week's fishing report, just want to give a huge thank you to LH Custom Rods for sponsoring this week's report. And if you guys want, we just hit 10,000 followers over on Facebook, and we will be doing a giveaway over there of an LH Custom Rod and a PC Fun reel. So go on over to our Facebook page, give us a follow, and get entered into that giveaway. Now, before we jump into the fishing report, just want to let you know, if you guys have a wheelhouse, you probably need to put the extension on your auger before heading out, because it is getting to that point where it is getting tough in wheelhouses to get all the way through. But with that being said, let's dive into this week's fishing report. All right, this week we're going to start up on Lake Winnie out of the Pines Resort. Just a little notice, Chad, the owner of the Pines Resort, he did have a pretty serious accident this past week. He fell off of a ladder. He is in the hospital. So if you guys could keep him in your thoughts and prayers, he would really appreciate that. And maybe even stop in at the resort and give them a little bit of business. Ice and snow conditions out on Lake Winnie. As far as the ice goes, 26 inches plus out there right now. There is no worries about the ice. There's tons of ice out there. As far as snow goes, little to none. It is tough to find snow to be able to bank your house with. I know a lot of the snowmobile guys have been asking me to include this snow. There is little to no snow out there. Now, as far as the fishing goes, this cold spell, it did kind of slow down some of the fishing. It is starting to pick back up. The walleye bite has been okay. The best depth in the bay right now is that 18 to 24 foot of water off the bottom edges of the humps or on those deeper sand flats. They're still catching them on a glow pink jigging spoon or on a plain red or white hook tipped with a small sucker minnow or a fathead. Now, that walleye bite is primarily that late evening and after dark into the early morning, but they are picking off a few here and there throughout the day. Now, another good area to target those walleyes out on the main lake, those north humps, the bottom edges, anywhere from that 24 to 32 foot of water. The closer you can get to that bottom transition off of those humps, the better off you are in catching those the exact same way as they are in the bay. Now, as far as the perch bite goes, still the best perch bite is in that 16 to 22 foot of water in the bay on the sand flats. Some of the perch have started to scoot out into that little bit deeper, that 22, 23 foot of water, but there are still some on those little bit shallower sand flats in that 16 to 18 foot of water as well. Now, best ways to catch those, number 4 or number 6 plain red hook with a fathead is working very well, or a small tungsten buckshot spoon in 1/16 or 1/8 ounce tipped with a minnow head or a couple of wax worms is working as well. Now, as far as the panfish bite goes, the bluegill bite has been very strong lately. They're catching those in that 6 to 9 foot of water on the weed edges and that sand to weed mix. The best bite tends to be in the evening and even into the dark a little bit for those bluegills. Now, as far as crappies, they're seeing a lot of them in with the bluegills. They are really tough to get to bite. You got to keep your music off, your TV off. You got to keep your lights dimmed. You got to just be quiet in that shallow water if you want them fish to swim underneath you, let alone bite. So if you're planning to set up and you want to listen to music, watch TV, be loud in your fish house, probably not the best choice for you. But if you're willing to be really quiet or want to fish in a portable and shallow there, a good option to get on some of those big bluegills. Now, as far as the pike bite goes, there's pike anywhere from 6 foot out to 24 foot. Doesn't seem to really matter what you're dropping down there. You're going to catch some pike. So if you want to get some pike, whether to pickle or to fry, maybe even bake, Lake Winnie is a great option. Now, if you're looking for a day house, a spear house, a cabin, the Pines Resort does offer those. They do have some openings. And then the Pines Resort also has a full barn restaurant, live bait, fish cleaning shack, basically anything you need to make your trip a success. They have it. So go ahead and give the Pines Resort a call. Now, if you're looking to stay in a sleeper house out on Lake Winnie, Scott from zupsguideservice, his weekends are full for the rest of the season. Just a reminder, walleye season does close, I believe, on Sunday, February 22nd, if I'm right there. He does have some weekday availability left in February, and they have been catching some really nice fish in his houses. So if you're looking to get up to Lake Winnie and get in on a sleeper house, go ahead and give Scott a call from zupsguideservice. All right, now moving down to Leech Lake. As far as the ice and snow conditions out on Leech Lake, similar to Winnie, 26 inches plus and little to no snow. So if you have a snowmobile, keep that in mind, and make sure you have your whole sleeves, your wheel skirts, and some ice cleats aren't a bad idea either. Out at Acorn Hill Resort on Traders Bay, the perch bite has gotten very good out there. As far as where they're finding those perch, anywhere from 16 to 24 foot of water. Greg's Break Line is a good spot. And then the mud flats kind of west of Greg's Break Line, just out towards the main lake a little more, in that 20 to 24 foot of water. They're really starting to school up out there. Best ways to catch the perch right now: a small jigging spoon tipped with a small minnow head or some Eurolarva or waxworms, or a small plain red hook with a fat head is working very well for those perch, and they are catching some really nice ones and a lot of them. Now, as far as the walleye bite goes, the walleye bite has been a little bit slower out there. It's definitely a late evening through the night bite. They're getting them out on that same areas that Greg's Break Line. They're getting some. The flooded timber out on Stony, those deeper mud flats, there's a few being picked up there as well. And a number 4 plain red hook with a small sucker, a golden shiner, or a glow red or glow pink jigging spoon tipped with a minnow head is working as well. Now, one bite that I am very excited about, the eel pout bite is really starting to pick up out there as well. Especially those people fishing that little bit deeper mud out there. They're starting to pick up some really nice eel pout. Best ways to catch them: if you're going to use a dead stick, hang 1 or 2, maybe even 3 minnows on a Wonder Bread glow jig is working good. Put it close to bottom. And then if you want to jig for them, a big glow spoon works best. Put 1, 2, 3 minnow heads on the treble hook, pound that into the bottom, and just keep your lure close to bottom, and you're more than likely going to catch some really nice eel pout out there. Now, there's also a Tullibee bite going on out there, anywhere from 14 out to 24, 25 foot of water. They're catching them basically everywhere. There is a lot of small ones, but there are some really nice ones mixed in as well. Now, if you're looking for a sleeper house, a cabin, a guided perch trip, a day house, Acorn Hill Resort does have some availability left this weekend. So if you want to book a last minute trip, give them a call and get that booked. You can still get up there this coming weekend. And then they do have a full bar and restaurant and indoor swimming pool, showers, the whole works. Their food is absolutely amazing, and they will be doing their half rack and full rack of ribs special Friday and Saturday. So make sure to stop in at the Loaded Loon Bar and Grill when you are up at Acorn Hill Resort. So if you're looking to get up to Leech Lake this coming weekend or in the future, go ahead and call Kyle from Acorn Hill Resort. All right, now moving down to Mille Lacs Lake. I have been fishing up on the north end. The perch bite has been fair, I would say. If you're going to go up there and just sit down in one spot, probably not going to do very well. But if you're willing to put some work in, if you've been out there a couple of times and you've kind of honed your spot in a little bit, chances are you might do pretty decent on the perch. Best areas to target those right now is in that 27 to 32 foot of water on the edge of the mud or out in the mud flats. Right now, the best bite is on a small 5mm tungsten jig tipped with some red Euro larva. You can try waxworms. They don't seem to work as good as the larva. You probably aren't going to catch any on a whole minnow. I've been putting some minnows down and all I'm catching is small walleyes. And then jigging spoons, not a whole lot of them are willing to commit to a jigging spoon either. Maybe during some of the peak hours of the day you can get them on a jigging spoon, but they really are focusing in on that bug bite, which the small tungsten jig and some Euro larva is working better. Now, as far as the walleye bite goes, the walleye bite has been tough. Yeah, people are catching big numbers of walleyes, but the majority of them are 13 inches or less. As far as getting some of them nicer ones, that 16 to 24 foot of water on rocks is best. You can get some of them out deeper mixed in with the perch, but if you're specifically targeting walleyes, I would find some of those rocks in that 16 to 24 foot of water, and it will primarily be a evening and after dark bite. Now, best ways to catch those. Small sucker minnows seem to be working best, and then a pink and white coffin spoon tipped with a minnow head is working as well, especially if it glows. Make sure you're glowing that up, pound it on bottom, and you might catch some of those nice Mille Lacs Lake walleyes. Now, as far as the ice conditions out on Mille Lacs Lake, there's 24 inches plus of ice, probably even a little more than that, and little to no snow. All right, well, that's going to do it for this week's fishing report. Really appreciate you guys tuning in. If you get out, take some pictures, send them to us on Facebook or to our Gmail. Remember, don't crowd other fishermen. Be respectful. Absolutely do not leave your trash out on the lake. And most importantly, don't forget to get on out there and get living.